What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Jacob and Me podcast show. I am the host, Richard Rodillo. I have the man right next to me, or right across from me, actually. The man with the noggin, Jacob Bullard.
The man with the noggin?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. You like it?
Sure.
The man with, you're like the smartest person I know.
Okay.
That's good. Why is that a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing.
Well, hi, Jacob. What's up?
What's up? Nothing much.
Not much? Okay.
That's about it.
That's about it. We're
How's
done.
that
Are we
going
done
on?
with the podcast? We're good?
Yeah, let's go home.
If you are new to the Jacob and Me podcast show, we are a mostly discussionary podcast where we talk about anything and everything on what we like to talk about, actually. More specifically, video games, movies, TV shows, and anything else we like to jerk off to in the beginning. Sports and controversial quotes that people say in sports or just weird situations that people are in sports is in the middle. And we, squeeze in a little bit of a boring history at the end with some politics. So
We do all
welcome
those things.
to those new people that are listening. Thank you guys for listening and continue listening. Let's get started, Jacob. How are you
Let's do it.
For real, though.
I'm feeling pretty good.
Feeling
I
pretty
slept a lot. I was up really early yesterday.
good? You were. I saw you
So
yesterday.
I slept until like 11:30 today, which is unusual for me now.
But it's not bad. You earned it.
And yeah, so I'm ready.
You're refreshed
Yeah.
and ready to go.
I'm on it.
So, in the beginning of this podcast, we're going to be talking about GamesCom primarily. A little bit of some weird situations in our undrafted segment will be on sports being played outside their home country.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end of it, a little bit of Trump, just for fun. Let's have some laughs. Anyways, let's get into the Gamescom. But before we do that, our Game Pass game of the week is Guacamelee. I forgot what the end of it, but it's the first Guacamelee.
Isn't it just Guacamelee?
No, I think it's like something Punched Out edition or something like that.
Oh.
Like extra salsa edition.
Oh, it's probably okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like
It probably has all the DLC.
yeah,
with it or
exactly.
something.
Yeah. So Guacamelee, I'm playing that right now. I didn't beat Shadow Complex because I'm stuck and I don't want to be able to figure it out. I don't care. I love the game though.
Get good.
Like I'm like in an area where I cannot beat the game.
You're like
period.
our friend Josh who quit Bloodborne because he couldn't get past one boss and just never came back.
It's not I can't get past the boss. I can't go back to a certain area. For some reason, it's just totally blocked off, and I think the game's glitched out, and I don't want to restart. Anyways,
Get good.
Games Pass game of the week for us is Guacamelee, and Guacamelee 2 is available at the moment as well, only on PSN and PC.
Okay.
Ready for some
I'm
Gamescom?
ready, yeah.
What are we gonna talk
Let's
about first
do
for
it.
Gamescom, Jacob?
Let's start with Battlefield 5. So they announced during Gamescom that there's going to be an open beta. The open beta starts on September 4th if you have Origin Access Prime, which most people probably don't. Because why would you need
I have an Origin account, but I don't have Prime.
Now the
and
Prime,
EA access.
they announced the Prime thing at E3, and it's all like more money than you should be paying, and you get
Definitely.
like earlier access to like everything. I'm sure there are people that enjoy it, but this is actually probably one of the first like titles for them. I can't Madden maybe had something to do with it.
With Prime?
Yeah, with the Origin Access thing.
I remember you bringing something up for FIFA maybe, but I would assume
Oh
like
yeah, FIFA comes out before this too. Yeah.
FIFA would be a title they would want to put on that Prime kind of whatever.
Prime is basically like their own Games Pass.
But like they already have EA access as well, which is weird. But I think this is only for like the PC players specifically.
Yes. Yeah.
So
So September 4th if you have Origin Access Prime, September 6th for everyone else. I should have looked up like what actual days those are. I would assume that the 4th is a Wednesday and the 6th is a Friday, but I guess I don't know that off the top of my head. Then there was also a few new trailers.
trailers. There was a bunch of trailers actually.
There were 3, I think.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Battlefield.
Like I mean, it makes sense for them to have a bunch of trailers. They want to get their game, all the ins and outs in a way about a month-ish out from release anyways, almost.
Yeah.
So-
We're about at this point right now as of recording, I would guess I think we're like 7 weeks maybe.
Yeah,
6-7 weeks.
but it's also in a whole October's lineup is pretty stacked.
Yeah, it is.
From when we were watching and refreshing ourselves and all the game content or that stuff that was announced, and that specific period is pretty packed.
Yeah. So there was a Tides of War trailer, basically explaining. It showed off some new gameplay a little bit, and talked about this game mode. Basically, where you're going to be able to fight actual actual locations of significant battles in World War II. It seems like it's going to be one of those where maybe you start kind of in the middle of the map, and then you play this multiplayer campaign kind of, and depending on who's winning or losing, you kind of move towards the UK or towards Berlin or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There was one like that in what was it? Oh, it was the first Titanfall had a
battle mode where you
mode like that.
I think they had that in For Honor. Remember they had a little
yeah,
map
they
in a
do
way?
kind of have
Is it
that.
similar, I guess I might have a similar idea, but I know it's Ubisoft.
The difference in For Honor was that you used the conflicts to when you won or lost, you got almost picture it kind of single Risk. Have you ever played Risk?
Yeah, I played Risk.
So the individual pieces. So if you won a game, you got more pieces than you did if you lost a game, and then you could pick whether or not you attacked or defended certain territories, and then at the end of the hour, it would update the map with how everyone that was playing the game voted, and then that's how the map would change. So this is, I feel like whoever wins or loses for the Tides of War thing in Battlefield, whoever wins or loses, it's just gonna they take that territory.
Okay, that makes
immediately. It's gonna just be this push and pull kind of campaign.
Yeah, I guess I don't. Since there's no campaign in this specific Battlefield, anyways. Regardless, I'm making a pick right now. Give me a sec. Drafted.
Have they not?
I think they said they're only
doing the little.
I think they're only doing
vignette episodic things.
I think both
anymore?
Call of Duty and them are doing both. Are replacing their single player experience with battle royales.
Oh, that's
I
kind of
believe.
really. Oh.
I know Call of Duty for sure. They're not doing a single player.
Yeah, I know.
at all.
Yeah, you're right about Call of Duty. I didn't know about Battlefield. I
I'm-
assumed at least that they would have those little mini single missions.
There might be a DLC to test to see if someone wants to play it. Maybe they've already done it in obviously before this, but maybe they might be in the premium or something like that. I would expect that as well, because I think the battle royale mode, they want to get it down so that they're able to not mess it up, and then also put more resources into that instead of doing. I would say expect it to be this year to be the battle royale mode, and then the next coming years to have a mix of both, since they've already gotten they cracked the shell basically and are cooking the egg already, and it's already done.
Yeah.
So.
So then the second trailer was kind of just a straight gameplay trailer, hype trailer. Lots of just ridiculous action scenes and explosions. The game looks really nice, especially if that's the way that it ends up, if that was actually taken from the in-game engine or whatever. Yeah, obviously one of the things that has always drawn me to Battlefield over other shooters is that there are more crazy moments in not just individually but also for a squad environment when you have the Call of Duty maps are always very kind of they're lanes almost, there's a whole bunch of stuff in the map but you can't interact with a lot of it, so all the maps basically just come down to bigger spawn points on the ends and then lanes with some crossover in between.
I would say there's not as much lanes. There's more or less, because I would say Battlefield's more of an objective game where you're going in and destroying either the points or you're capturing the points. Call of Duty is more straight up deathmatch, and you're going in more of it looks like LoL up top.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah. You're looking at top view. So that's why I told you it's two different species when you're when you wanted to compare. For next week, we're gonna compare Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Yeah, the Battlefield.
I feel they're two different species, but you can also have I think they're similar in kind of like you said, the different experiences as well. So I think the experiences are somewhat, because you can still have crazy moments in Call of Duty where there's 5v1 on a deathmatch or you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean by
that, right?
But I'm talking more you can be, in a gunfight with another squad. It's a 4-man squad in Battlefield. So we're playing. We've got like a squad. We're like trying to like we're all in different classes. We're trying to like coordinate to like get the objective done because the rest of our team is doing who knows what. That's the way it always works in Battlefield. And
What's another gripe I have with Battlefield though?
and like we're like fighting like the other team over here, and then like a tank drives through the wall that we're like set up behind.
Yeah.
There's like more, like there are crazy moments in Call of Duty, and it's like almost like feats and like crazy accomplishments. But in Battlefield, there can be that, but I feel like there's a much larger element of surprise.
Well, I would say Call of
It's
Duty,
like with all the destructibility and all that, it's like almost anything can happen.
yeah, Call of Duty has like a little bit more predictability as well because of the lanes, obviously.
Yeah,
so you know, like, oh, there's probably going to be a guy. There's a likelihood of that there's going to be a guy around this corner coming at me right now.
Yeah. So I just got from the new gameplay trailer, like they're just pushing almost more for that. It's like all the destructibility, the like people jumping out of windows, like
the way they're
all the completing.
Well, it wasn't just jumping out the
explosions of
window, it was jumping out of the window and like rolling.
Yeah,
and
and
then
having
getting
like all
back
the
up. That was
animations
different. If
for
they're
stuff
able,
like that.
that's gonna be interesting because like usually when you jump off a window in a shooter, you're able to like shoot, but if they like you have to go through that animation, it's gonna be kind of interesting to see that. If that's a thing, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
but like that's just like their own take of that, I guess, in a way.
But like all the destructibility, like it showed that like missile rocket thing coming in and like completely just like annihilating a whole building.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's as probably something similar to the train on that one desert map in Battlefield 1, where like if one team's getting wrecked, like they got that train or whatever.
They have like the gunships too for the other maps.
Yeah. So yeah.
But the problem with Battlefield as well is, well, I mean, we'll talk about it when we do the comparison. Never mind.
We'll talk about it. So what he's talking about is I've played you didn't play the Call of Duty beta, did you? So
I
played
you and Anthony, because you guys pre-ordered it already.
Yeah, so I played the Call of Duty. I played the Call of Duty beta, which was last weekend as of recording now, and then next weekend is the Battlefield 5 open beta. So once we play that, we're gonna have a discussion like about the two of them. Basically, is what we're planning. One
cool thing though was because like we were looking at the graphics trailer one.
The NVIDIA trailer?
Yeah, the NVIDIA trailer, and how like it like was shining off the guys' eyes and then going off the car. And like you were like, so what you're saying is I can grab my dead teammate and then use them as a mirror around the corner. Like I was like, that was pretty funny. But yeah. I'm not that like that looks cool, it looks amazing, but I'm like, for me, like when I look at that, I'm like, EA should be doing that. It should, like, no one should be wild about that. They should be like, yeah, they should be doing that. That's what the quality of game for me. Like no, I meant like as like I guess of them pushing their engine forward, like that should already be built in no matter what.
But there's so many other things I would rather see them work on than like the reflection of gunfire in people's eyes.
Well, I'm saying like it shouldn't be like a feature they should be showing off like that. Is what I'm saying. Like that should be a thing.
It
where
should just be like more natural. Like this is the natural progression.
Like people should just recognize like, whoa, dude, you can look at your reflection in this. Like that shouldn't be like a thing. Like you know how EA done with like the FIFA announcements with like Champions League. Like yeah, but what are you gonna do with Champions League?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like it shouldn't be like a thing where like, oh, look at this new feature. Like no, dude, that should already be there. Like
okay, yeah, fair enough. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's hit Fallout 76. It should be a pretty quick one. There was a new trailer. No gameplay. It's just another one of their another like animated. My voice just cracked. That was awkward. Animated little cartoons that they do for most of their trailers. So there wasn't any gameplay or graphics or anything like that. This trailer was all about constructing your base, basically.
Yeah, that was it was like the usual funny trailers that they usually do that are
little,
the cartoon trailers.
Blonde Vault Boy dude and like some other random people and enemies.
Yeah, just like funny little. Are they like dad jokes?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's kind of satire of a lot of things.
Mm.
I mean, like the joke about like all the things you'd be able to make, and you can buy and sell all these weapons and ammo, but like kill the guy that sold it to you. Like the cartoon showed this guy selling a crossbow to someone, and then the guy killed him with the crossbow and took his money back.
Yeah.
And then someone picked up the arrow that the guy used, all these things, and it was like capitalism.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot. I was like trying to remember.
Capitalism. What would we? Capitalism destroys communism or something like that, or prevents communism.
Yeah, that was it. It was like capitalism, the only thing that prevents communism. It's like, so there's all kinds of like jokes that are like that in these.
Yeah.
But they did try to. I don't know. I'm kind of two minds because they try to explain features with them, but you don't actually get to see what they're gonna actually look like.
Yeah. So with that, like, when you're talking about building like these bases, like so like kind of like the beginning of it was.
Right, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay, can I see what I'm building for it? Like
Right,
I
right,
get
right.
like you're showing us like the workbench and like the fire pit and you're eating a bloat fly, but I'm like, it'd be nice to see like, okay, yeah, this is a head like the map and you can literally build like as they said anywhere. It'd be nice to see like, oh, like you can build in these different like ranges of different areas. But I think maybe if they're doing that because they don't want to show off the game too much yet, that might be what
Yeah.
it is.
Although throughout all the information that's been given about Fallout 76 so far, I don't really know that I have any reason to believe that the construction and base building is going to be any different than it was in Fallout 4. Maybe it'll be a little bit different how you actually get those resources, because it did talk about like mining and stuff like that, which wasn't really available in Fallout 4 because you could only really mine the things that were in there were like basically boxes on the map where you could build and you could only mine from those areas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this game. I'm a little bit unsure that it's going to work well, but
Like I said, when the last podcast we talked about the game or the stuff they announced at QuakeCon, I was like, you can't give this game day one like rating like or review or whatever your opinion is. It's this game's not going to be the game it is in like for the first 3 months. You got to give it the first 3 months and then everything will be leveled out, chipped away, because the beta they have going on isn't going to fix all the problems that's going to happen at launch.
right, yeah.
So I'm expecting like not to be even able to play the game at launch.
Yikes.
Like online is what I mean.
So you think like their server's gonna crash or something?
Yeah,
like
for some
online?
stupid like there's gonna be something dumb that's gonna happen. I would expect
that happens way more often than it should.
That's-
in
yeah,
2018.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, don't expect this game to be like, oh, this is totally gonna work day one. I would expect it to work the single player mode. You'll be able to do that and grind out whatever you want to do with that. But
Right,
I would
yeah.
expect the online mode to be like A-OK day one.
Okay. Moving on, there was two new cinematic trailers for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. There was one trailer for each character, so one because you can play as you can choose between the two, the male and the female, similar to Assassin's Creed Unity. No, not Unity. The one after that.
What we should do when we get the game is like you should play the one character and I'll play the other one and compare and contrast.
Sure,
That'd be kind of cool.
I'm down to do that.
I'll play the female.
Sure. I really don't care. I'll play that.
But yeah.
So yeah, there was a Cassandra cinematic trailer and a Alexios cinematic trailer. Yeah, it seems graphically to me it does not look any different than
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's like obviously it's probably the same engine and it's a very short turnaround time. And it was like Odyssey just coming out last December, I think.
There's not two different teams, right, that are working on these games?
It probably is just
Okay.
because Ubisoft has people everywhere.
I would expect like the engine team to be the same team, but like the story writers and like aesthetic
I
creators
see
to be
what you mean.
different, maybe.
Yeah, they probably used a lot of the data and like little, like things in. I'm sure there's a bunch of I can't think of the word that I'm trying to use. Like IP basically that they're pulling from Odyssey and just dumping it into, like this table. They probably just skipped a bunch of things where it's like they made a table in Assassin's Creed Odyssey and like you're going to find that table in like a house in
you mean find it? It was created in Origins and
Origins,
then put it in
yeah,
Odyssey.
sorry. Yeah, that's like that kind of thing where they're like they're reusing a bunch of things because that would help with the turnaround time. But obviously a whole new story. Hopefully there's some bigger. I really hope that the two separate that there's enough differences between the Cassandra and the Alexios gameplay and campaign that it would actually be worth playing through it
Twice.
both ways. I don't want it to be just like, oh, you're killing someone as a guy or you're killing someone as a girl. Like I hope that there's quests or whatever where you have different options available to you as Cassandra than you do as Alexios because like they're different people like in different sexes.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it's exactly like copy paste, but it'd be interesting to see the different outcomes. And I mean, we're already gonna have. It's already somewhat of a role playing game because you're gonna be able to make decisions in the game, like they said at the E3 trailer. So I'm not gonna be too surprised if you're able to like have a combination. I would feel like for us it's gonna be different because I think we were gonna play the game differently, as it is. But I wouldn't be too surprised because if it's so, if you have so many options, I wouldn't be. Yeah, like I said, there's no way to like make that. I feel like they're just gonna like let you do whatever you want in a way, or like give you as much options
Yeah.
so
yeah.
you can have the same outcome.
So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm a really big Assassin's Creed fan. I really liked Assassin's Creed Origins. It'll be interesting to see if or how they tweak any of the combat or anything like that, 'cause Origins was the first time that they've introduced that new combat system in the Assassin's Creed franchise. So see like how they build on it with this next installment.
Yeah, I think it's a big game. I'm somewhat excited for it. I might play Origins within I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't too stoked about the game. I kind of was, but kind of wasn't. Yeah. But whatever. Let's keep moving.
All right. Metro Exodus. There was a new gameplay demonstration during GamesCom this year. To me, I honestly felt that this game looked like a remastered Skyrim.
Yeah.
But like obviously in a different setting. But like just how
the lighting,
like the animations,
ground.
the way the like the forest areas looked, that kind of thing.
A lot of games are starting to like have that kind of like, well, what Exodus looks like kind of looks like that, like the single player experience.
There are just too many post-apocalyptic.
This is
not that Skyrim, I guess, is
Metro
all
came out in like
post-apocalyptic,
2010, I want to think. So this was like not way before, but like definitely is already planted its foot in the post-apocalyptic. Or pretty early. So this is like the third installment, so you can't really say
no, I
there's
mean, just
too
like
many.
so many other games like around is all.
Yeah, I would say, because like there's other shooters out there like Doom and Wolfenstein. Like I enjoy the Exodus games because like preference, just I enjoy it. The story mode, I enjoy the setting, I enjoy the combat, I enjoy the creatures that are around me trying to kill me and eat me alive, and then I love the options to kind of be stealthy or just like running gun, kind of similar to like I think Wolfenstein. You can probably be able to do that as well. From when I played a little bit of it. So like I like those kind of like options, like different play styles. But like I think there's like different things that offers that different games don't. And like I think they do the post apocalyptic world better than most games. And it also feels like when I pitched the game to Anthony to play, I told him like, oh, think of Fallout. You're not gonna get the same kind of gameplay, but think of like the theme and like the story being like, oh, it's like Fallout but in Russia. He was like, what? And he played it and he like loves the game now.
Yeah.
So
in the trailer they showed off a pretty wide variety of weapon modifications that you're going to be able to use.
That reminded me of the Fallout 4
yeah.
trailer when they showed you the workbench and you're just like clicking through. I like the animation of you taking your backpack off and sending it down and going through it.
Yeah.
Because like in the last two metros, you just go to a menu.
Right.
So it was kind of interesting. The weapons look cool. The crossbow that we saw for a little bit. This game is definitely frightening. I definitely get like I'm kind of scared of playing this game not at night, but like in the setting of nighttime for the game. It gets pretty, or just in a dark area. You're just like, what the hell's gonna go on my ground?
Was it like that for the first two?
Yeah.
Because like I've never played
the first two were like basically underground.
Okay.
So
Metro.
I think the second one you went outside for a little bit more or a little bit longer, or like some of the campaign had you go outside for a little bit.
Yeah.
But this one's full blown. You're out in the forest and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting how they play around with it. But like I said, when I told you in the beginning when the game started or the gameplay started, I was like, look, we have more of a budget now.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it really is. Too.
Yeah.
So.
Last of the major games, or at least the games that we chose to take note of, is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Very much in the. This is a FromSoft game.
FromSoft.
Very much in the. Like what you said before we started recording, it feels like Dark Souls and Assassin's Creed, kind of put together. I think the Assassin's Creed elements, I notice it the most in the climbing and the stealth aspect of it. And then the combat is 100%.
I would say like the executions
like
too,
Souls,
or like how it just like stays and like it kind of gives you that kind of like weird, like it feels like it tilted a little bit when you started to like finish someone, and it showed you like a side and then blood coming out and everything.
Yeah,
it just reminded me of that part of really reminded me of Assassin's Creed.
I also kind of got, for some reason, I also in the the combat, it did feel like Dark Souls, but Dark Souls is not a game uh where weapons clash at all. So like if you're fighting something with a sword, like you do not block. Like you can block, I guess, but like it's more just like evade, and
Yeah,
it felt like that
roll.
at sometimes. But
Do a barrel roll. Sorry.
yeah, that's basically all Dark Souls. It for whatever reason I was getting vibes of For Honor in the combat, and I really don't like. I don't know. That was just how I felt about it.
Well, For Honor was like, I don't know. That's like a different story to talk about, but yeah, I get what you're saying. The only part I'm worried about this is like when's the release date?
This is I did not write the release date down, but they announced it for March of 2019.
Okay, so it should be doing well because everything should be already out by time March comes around, so it shouldn't have too much competition around it. But regardless, I think a lot of people are hyped up about this game.
That time of year, like there's about a month period of like late February to late March where there is a whole bunch of stuff. Because February 22nd is that really big day where it's Anthem, Metro.
Oh, it's only March? I thought it was in February.
No, did I say March? Sorry. February 22nd. And like that kicks off this like 1 month period where there's like 2 games a week of like a whole bunch of stuff to get.
So a lot of stuff's going to cannibalize itself or
Probably
cannibalize other stuff.
Yeah, there are definitely going to be some winners and losers out of like everyone. And I'll especially for that February 22nd release date, would not be surprised if like we get to November and 2 of those games are gone.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be pushed back.
Yeah, we'll see. We might play this game, probably, maybe. We'll see.
I expect to have it because I'm sure Anthony will want to play it.
Oh, okay.
So like I'll own
this
it.
This is gonna be on both consoles, right?
Yes.
Okay. This one's not gonna be. It's the.
I don't think it's exclusive.
It's that one weird one they showed at the PlayStation E3 one where you rode on the horse for like 5 minutes.
I know which one you're talking about, and I'm blanking on the name of it.
Because I thought that was just like the same game, but never mind. No, this is the one they showed at the
Ghosts
Xbox.
of Tsushima. Is that it?
Maybe. This is the one that they showed at the Xbox conference, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
I'm confused because they kind of are similar, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was also interested in like the lore. I want to do some research on the lore, like see where all these like stories are coming from.
Yeah.
Because that'd be interesting. Because there's like that weird giant that the guy was fighting in the beginning. I want to I wonder if there's like some more backing to this. It'd be interesting. But yeah.
So yeah, that game is gonna be coming out Q1 2019. Last but not least, real quick. I'll run through these really quick. Some smaller announcements that we kind of chose not to cover in depth. Diablo 3 is getting a release on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
The Spyro trilogy was delayed, I believe, into 2019. Maybe it was already coming out in 2019. I don't remember. But Spyro trilogy delayed. And then there was more trailers and information for Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry 5, Life is Strange 2, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. There was a Call of Duty Arsenal map gameplay trailer.
It wasn't like it was just Call of Duty.
Yeah, it was basically like a Call of Duty match.
Yeah, that's all it was.
There was a couple other smaller games, I think. But yeah,
there's like DLC. Yeah, there was just like other than that, it was just DLC on like games that came out in the summer and then in the spring. That's really what it was.
So the last thing that we're going to talk about is the Xbox Games Pass app, which is being released for iOS and Android. Or is this something? So obviously, Games Pass is the monthly subscription. Gives you access to the library.
The way you explained it, I was like, okay, I'm very much on board because I with the Xbox app that right now, I enjoy it because like I kind of just use it as like a second controller sometimes.
Okay.
Like the keyboard's like really easy to use. Like it's just more convenient. I like like I said, like being able to type stuff in faster on that than to go scrolling over the letters. It's easy. Yeah, just using like the controller because like Stephanie likes using it too, so she's like, so I was like, okay, cool, she likes it. It's easy to use. Other than that, like the only thing I was like, man, it'd be really nice if I could download games from my phone or be able to manage my games. And like I saw like, oh wait, you can do that.
Yeah,
that's easy.
So now you'll be able to access your Games Pass subscription if you have one, and constantly like be able to. I'm sure you can set it where you'll get notifications for games that are leaving Games Pass or games that are going to be added to Games Pass. So it keeps you up to date with what's going to be in the library, and then you can select games and choose to start the download at your home console.
Yeah, I think it'd just be you're able to use that and then notify, because everyone has a smartphone nowadays, regardless. It just like the weirdness of no one really looks up that kind of stuff, like unless you're trying to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Like Mad Max for you, it came off the Games Pass.
Yeah,
I don't know if did you even notice that was going to go off of Games Pass?
I did not know that.
So I'm saying, like, if you would have known that without having to like look the game up, because I think the only time you can actually look at it is like there's a category where I think games that are leaving soon, but it's like at the very bottom of the list of like categories, and then you have to actually click the game and it'll tell you like, oh, this game is leaving at so and so time or date.
So like, had I known, I definitely probably would have made a bigger effort to try to finish that game before, because I was kind of taking my time moving through it. And yes, and then all of a sudden, like, I wanted to play it one night, clicked on it on my Xbox, and it's like, do you own this game? I was like, wait, what's going on? I thought maybe the Xbox Live was down in some capacity or whatever, and it was like, nope, it's gone off Games Pass, like, can't play it anymore.
Toodles.
Yeah. So that was a little bit frustrating, but hopefully I'll be able to use that app in the future to avoid that situation.
Yeah, I'm excited. I like it. It's something that I think that they should have already done or addressed.
It's it's like the next thing in a long line of kind of quality of life updates that have been introduced to Xbox over the last really now like 3 years maybe or so, that are really making it I feel a much better platform than PlayStation.
Yeah, well, you just need like a third person over the top, like a third person story mode game, and like you're like, whoa.
Well, I mean, separate of the games, just like straight up like the interface and like the features that you can use and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
some people didn't like the update. I know some of the guys in the group didn't like the chat up, like we had to like go an extra step to like get into to invite people or like to get into chat and stuff. But yeah, that's what it was. You get used to it. You get
it. I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so that is it for GamesCom 2018.
GamesCom 2018, guys. Let us know what you were excited about. Tell us what game we missed if we did. We don't, because we looked at the whole list of it. And let us know if you were actually excited for some of the stuff that we thought was not very important. Let us know. Comments down below. Let's move on to some undrafted sports talk, news, opinions. Two regular boys. Here we go. So I think this kind of sparked when, I think it was last week, beginning of the week, if I stand corrected, that
I think that's right.
La Liga announced that they were working with a sports agency called, I forgot what the sports agency was called, to bring one game a year over to the States from La Liga. So La Liga is in soccer in Spain. Their domestic home league is called La Liga. Just like if they call the NFL, it's like they call it La Liga for context. They wanted to, like I said, have one game that mattered from Spain to here. The argument was in place that the game would be a home game for one of the smaller teams, because if you didn't know, there's only a handful of big teams, 3 specifically in La Liga, that make the most money and like have the biggest fan base. Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid's somewhat behind, but it's getting there. They were going to be playing an away game in the States against a smaller team. Like I can't come up with an example right now, but the smaller teams. That's not Valencia. Getafe. But like, it's one of the teams that are not going to be in that like 5 or 6 top teams.
Yeah.
And then the argument would be the benefit for those teams that, oh look, you're getting exposure over here in the States, because you're seeing them play Barcelona, playing Real Madrid, playing Atletico Madrid, and then that was like one of the arguments, I guess, and being able to get more foreign exposure because they don't come over to the States, if any at all.
Right. Yeah.
And then. I think this past week, in the beginning of the week, the players had a meeting to talk about this kind of like an issue, and I think they threatened to go on strike.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So it was like Sergio Ramos, who's like the captain for Real Madrid, and then Lionel Messi, who's a captain for Barcelona, who have been are somewhat spearheading this kind of strike in a way, right? Because they all met together with all the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
captains or leaders of the other teams and talked about this and sat down. I understand why we're doing it here in America, because like a lot of our sport, or most of our sports, I feel like are only played here, like professionally at a high level, like football, baseball in between, because they have other leagues around the world, but I don't think they're as big as baseball. Everyone kind of gravitates towards the MLB after they get to a certain level into
And the
their
MLB
leagues.
like picks like the
Yeah.
best from Japan and
Yeah.
the best from all the other leagues anyway.
Mhm. So things like that are interesting. I'm supposed to be drafting real quick. Give me a sec. Sorry, I'm like drafting.
What? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, what I was just gonna say is that what I guess I understand what they're going for, but I also feel like so the on ESPN FC last week they had on a representative of this group that's kind of responsible, the United States space group that's responsible for like that made the deal. It's a 15-year agreement too as well. So like supposedly there's gonna be at least one game a year in the United States for the next 15 years. And the money for that was coming from the Miami Dolphins owner, I believe. And so there's a lot of talk that first game's going to be in Miami. I just don't feel like unless you take like Barcelona, Real Madrid, or Atleti have to be one of the teams, or I don't feel like it's going to be worth it for anyone. And they said that like they're not going to take a home. I feel like it's not fair for any of the smaller teams and the fans of those smaller teams, because they're not going to take a home game from Barcelona, Real Madrid, or Atleti, and it's never going to be the Clasico or the Madrid derby that's played in the United States. So for me, it's just I don't really feel like the potential benefits outweigh the costs, where it's like getting everyone over here. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of travel. Travel's not obviously as big a deal as it used to be, but still, it's probably about a 5 or 6 hour flight from Spain to say it's in Miami, so from Spain to Florida, and you're gonna be taking a home game from
the smaller club,
like local fans.
Yeah, because like one of the examples I said, like, oh, like my small club is finally in the top division, because there's relegation and promotion, so 3 of the bottom teams go down a division and 3 new teams come up. So those 3 new teams, like, oh, hey, we're playing Barcelona this weekend. Like, I want to go see Lionel Messi in person, or I want to go see Sergio Ramos, or like whatever player that they want to go see in person, or for the bigger teams. And it kind of like you're taking that away from them as well, because like it's something that you don't get to see every day. It's like, let's say, well, I mean, the NFL does it, but let's say you want to go see like LeBron James in like a smaller city, but they're gonna move that game to out of the country. It's like, whoa, I wanted to see LeBron James,
right?
but like now we can't see LeBron James. I have to go travel farther to go see him now.
Yeah,
but yeah, and then it's also not against my home team as well, like the team I support, that I want to cheer for, but also
so like I don't know what happened with I don't, they obviously haven't determined which 2 teams it's gonna be yet, but say for example it's Real Sociedad, and like they've already collected money for season tickets for this season, and like then they lose a home, like their home game versus Atletico Madrid is removed like from that, but like all the people, like there are probably thousands of people that paid for that game already, and then like that game is taken from them.
Well, I think they are, if anything, this should be accommodated. First off, like the money should be for that game should be returned if that would actually happen. But I don't, like I said, if this strike happens, it's gonna be interesting in the coming weeks to see what it turns out to be. I think it's kind of late to announce this. I think they should have announced this at the end of last season.
Yeah, maybe.
If anything, to prepare this kind of backlash that's happening. But like I said, for us, the American sports, I feel can, not that I'm home games, because the NFL has like 2 games a year in London now. And then you said next year the MLB is playing in Mexico, Japan, and then in London.
Right, and they played in Puerto Rico this year.
Yeah, I think like MLB games, there's so many. It's like that seems reasonable in a way.
Yeah,
for me to look at it, because like you play 162 games, so it's like, oh, you lose 1 game. It's not the worst thing in the world. You have other chances that week to go see them. And then even against the Big Ten, I think the Red Sox and the Yankees are going to play one game in London.
It's a two.
It's 2 games?
Yeah, it's back-to-back nights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So
Well-
all the others are as well. So like the A's and the Mariners have a 2 or 3 game series in Japan. I think it's 2 games. I think
So they're all just going to play 2 games.
Yeah, and
wherever
then the
they are.
Angels and Rangers play 2 games. I think it's the Rangers. So the Angels play 2 games in Monterrey, Mexico.
Yeah. So, and then maybe the NBA. I think the NBA has. I think they play preseason games outside the country, but I don't know if they play regular season games outside the country yet.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So I don't. I would assume eventually they're probably going to do that too as well to expand, because that's just the way it goes in America.
Yeah. So we have like the NFL and MLB going out. Like you said in the beginning, those feel like predominantly, at least those leagues are predominantly American entities, and so it makes sense that they're trying to spread out to like other large markets around the world. But soccer specifically is basically really big everywhere but here, and it's growing in the United States, obviously, but it's not like soccer is the sport in most of the other countries, especially like bigger media market
It's either
countries.
1 or 2 basically in other countries.
So this feels just like a weird move to me that they're coming to the United States. That coupled with the fact, like you were saying, there's 162 games in baseball. I think you have a little bit of a similar argument in the NFL, where 2 teams are losing a domestic game in a 16-week season or 17-week season, one of those.
Yeah.
And like they're losing, 2 fan bases are losing a game to like London, or I guess 4, if there's 2 games. So it just feels unnecessary. It feels part of the reasoning that this representative was saying for the La Liga game in the U.S. was that I guess like half of the teams in the league are basically like barely making any money, and so like they're trying to raise money and raise revenue for those like the bottom tier of the league. And I just don't see it, like I said earlier, the benefits outweighing the costs of it, and outweighing the perception like for their home fans and for the players in the league, and like them not wanting to do this. And apparently like they weren't even consulted. The Players Association was never consulted when this agreement was made. And I feel also that they're gonna have to pick 2 teams that are it's either going to be one of the big teams, and it would have to be a team that's basically guaranteed to finish mid-table, or 2 teams that are guaranteed to finish mid-table. Because if they picked like a truly bottom team, like
it looks like it starts with a G, but it's how like Spanish is part. It's like Hucusa or something.
Oh, is that one of the teams that was just promoted?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll just go back to like Getafe, for instance. Yeah. Like say Getafe's in like a relegation battle, and like they end up getting relegated by 1 point, and they were the team that lost their home game
in the States.
Yeah, right, to play their match in the United States.
Well, and
like
then
you're gonna
they're losing money off of the first division as well, but they don't make that much anyways compared to the parts, because there's no like shared TV rights in that league like they do in the Premier League, though.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Well, that's another problem. I think that's where
they should try to get their money from, and not like these little almost gimmicky games.
Well,
being in the U.S.
Well, when you look at it too, the TV deals right now, obviously English Premier League is on NBC. Bundesliga is on Fox. Not all the games. ESPN now owns
a whole bunch of stuff.
Serie A, Eredivisie, the USL, and then some MLS games. But like the Eredivisie, and like they're gonna prosper off of those, just on the ESPN app, I think.
I mean, just because the Eredivisie finally got television rights here in the U.S., like I've watched more.
Yeah.
I've watched more Eredivisie games in the last 2 weeks than I have in the last 20 years.
Yeah. So Serie A. Like they were on BN Sports. I think moving away from, not to say destroy BN Sports, but I think BN Sports probably needs to go and then move the La Liga, because La Liga has like all the bigger games on ESPN, either on like English or in the Spanish channel, but they probably need to move on to the ESPN Plus app. So like that like I think that would be the best step in a way, or getting some kind of TV right where you're not on a selective channel. You're like on something that's more available to other people.
Right. Yeah. Because I would watch more La Liga, but beIN Sport is not something that I have.
Yeah.
So.
Because like, I mean, I watch the Bundesliga game every so often because it's on random times of the day, and like same with the Serie A games. Like they're on after all the Premier League games are done.
Yeah.
Basically.
Sometimes. Yeah.
So it's like convenient to like, oh wait, I watched all Premier League. Now I can watch all La Liga. Maybe I can fit an Eredivisie game in there as well, and it's just more convenient. And I enjoy. I always try to make it a thing where I'm trying to watch one team or one game from each team to like kind of understand their play style and like understand guys on the team or the names on the team and stuff to get used to it. So like Eredivisie, I'm starting to get to know teams like that or things like that.
So we'll definitely try to keep you guys updated. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered as far as like how the revenue is going to be shared and like how they're going to be able to generate revenue from this. How the Players Association is going to react. I mean, like there are rumors that the players are going to go on a strike. So yeah, they're just like still a lot of question marks surrounding this whole thing. It doesn't make quite as much sense as it does from a U.S. standpoint, at least in our opinion.
Yeah. Sorry, my brother-in-law just took the player I was about to take. But yeah, like I think it's just going to be coming down to what's the real benefit. And I think the English Premier League has tried to push this too, but it's been shot down every time, and I think this is going to get shot down as well. But yeah.
Well, I don't know at this point that it can be. Like it's already been signed like
it's already been signed and it's already going to be okay.
Yeah.
Well, if they go on strike,
I think
though,
this is going to happen.
Like if they go on strike, they're going to go on strike. So regardless, something's going to change.
Yeah, that was part of the problem is that like they completed this agreement with the Dolphins owner, this 15-year agreement with the Dolphins owner without consulting the Players Association. Like I'm pretty sure that it's like a done deal.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens because it might not happen.
Yeah. So that takes us to our final segment.
Dun dun dun. You got to pull out your
Pennsylvania Avenue. Gotta pull out my what?
Oh wait, no wait. Oh, we got to do history.
Yeah,
history.
Are you gonna be able to do that in your draft?
Can I send you the link and then?
Sure.
You do the history.
Oh, look at that! The Angels lost. Never seen that before in my life.
Let me share this. I'm gonna send you the text. Should be pretty easy. You don't have to say like their birthplace. Super easy.
All right.
There's 2 months. I have the because we're going to September 1st, so I'll send you September 2 as well. But wait, did I send you it or no?
So we're starting. Today's the 26th.
Today is the 26th, so we're doing 26th to September 1st. I'm sending you September.
Oh! I thought we were gonna be doing last week. Okay.
Did we already do it last week? Didn't we? Oh, did we go up to the 18th?
I think last week we went up to the 18th.
Oh, we did? Okay, my bad. Sorry. I'm totally sorry. Okay, well, I read like everything from... Never mind, we're good, so I don't need to send you that. Go ahead.
So we're starting on the 19th.
So
which would have been...
Thank you to the historyplace.com where this is from. This is usually where I get my...
Yes.
So, and it has like some kind of description on what happened as well, which is nice.
Okay, so... August 19th, 1934. Okay, I see what's going on. Okay. August 19th, 1934, Adolf Hitler was granted the powers of Chancellor and at the same time was also allowed to hold the office of president. Which I'm not really sure what the difference between Chancellor and president is, and I think it's like has to do with president of like the
isn't that what like Putin did?
Yeah, kind of.
Putin and then the no, never mind. The guy from China like it's just like permit. No. The guy the current Chinese president is is a lifetime term now. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so August 19th, 1934, basically Hitler came to power, like formally came to power.
Formally.
August 19th, 1991, Soviet communists staged a coup. Hardline communists staged a coup. Temporarily removing Mikhail Gorbachev from power. And this coup failed in 72 hours after Democratic reformer Boris Yeltsin rallied the Russian people, and Yeltsin took power. And then the Communist Party was banned in Russia. And by December of 1991, the Soviet Union had disintegrated. Take that, communists.
We win.
Birthday. Aviation pioneer. It doesn't. Not gonna give me a day. August 19th. When? Oh, 1780. No, August 19th, 1781. Orville Wright.
That is the day. The 19th. Never mind.
No, but it doesn't say that. It just says birthday.
Yeah, the year is 1871.
Right, but it doesn't. Okay. See how the rest of them just give me the date right off the top?
Yeah, the date is the same day it goes until it changes to.
Thank you.
Okay, wait.
But there's not a year there. I found the year in reading it.
Okay, look. See where it goes? August 20th.
Yes.
So that's like a section. Up is the 19th.
I got that. There wasn't a year. I had to read it to find the year, which is not what I had to do for the ones before, which is all I was saying.
Yeah, but it says the day was birth, and
it.
then they died. It's because you got to put it together.
But it was okay. Never mind. Whatever.
It's not right next to it. Conveniently.
All the other ones were right. Like the first thing
Oh.
listed was the date.
Oh, okay.
Then it just says birthday in the next one. That's why. So August 19th, 1871, Orville Wright, aviation pioneer, was born in Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio.
In 1903, Orville and his brother Wilbur achieved the world's first sustained controlled flight of a motor-driven aircraft.
We actually had, I think right after that, we had people in Santa Ana. I forgot what the brothers were called. They had two brothers, too, in Santa Ana that flew a plane similar to them.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I heard. It was back in, elementary school when I heard this. I went to Greenville Elementary, and, we had a guy that had this whole presentation. You know, they have those, oh, hey, guys, we're going to go to the library, and this guy's going to present some cool history stuff to you. Have you ever had that stuff? Like a thing like that in school?
Yeah, sure.
So, that was, one of them that I had. He went through, every grade and explained. And it was really weird, but it was cool.
Okay.
I was like, whoa, dude, this is sick. But, yeah.
August 19th, 1946, Bill Clinton was born in Hope, Arkansas, and he was the first president elected who was not alive during World War II.
Dust.
August 20th, another presidential birthday. August 20th, 1833, Benjamin Harrison, the 23rd president of the United States, was born in North Bend, Ohio, and he was the grandson of William Henry Harrison, who was the 9th president. So one of probably, 4 presidential families? Harrisons, Roosevelts, Bushes, and Adams. John Quincy Adams and John Adams.
I think.
Are there any other ones?
That should be, because the Harrison had he was the grandson.
Right.
Adams, yes. Yeah, I think that's it. If anyone's related to everyone, it's just someone married their sister or their great sister.
Yeah, I think the Roosevelts were cousins of some kind. Right?
Yeah.
Teddy and FDR.
Yeah, they were second or third cousins or something like that.
August 21st, 1863. William Quantrill led 450 Confederate raiders on a pre-dawn raid of Lawrence, Kansas. In, I guess, the prior year. So it was a rebellion?
I think this is after something compromise. There was a compromise, and then everyone went to Kansas. This was pre-Civil War, right? What was the year?
1863.
Oh, 63?
Mm-hmm. And so not pre-Civil War.
No, this must have happened. Yeah. Because they had a pre-battle before that, where they had people, they had abolitionists and then anti-abolitionists, right?
Well, it sounds like this was more of a revolt, because it says in 1862, William Quantrill had been denied a Confederate commission by the Confederate Secretary of War, who labeled Quantrill's notions of war as barbarism. So it seems like he led kind of a revolt against the Confederate Army.
Okay, never mind. I'm stupid then.
August 21st, 1959, Hawaii became the 50th and, so far anyway, final state in the United States.
Puerto Rico.
Signed into the Union by President Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Ike. Vote for Ike? Or something like that?
I feel like it was more rhyming than that.
Yeah, but like it was something.
But yeah, it was something catchy like that.
Vote for Ike, make you like.
Sure. August 21st, 1983, Filipino opposition leader Benigno Aquino. Oh man, I'm gonna butcher this. Benigno Aquino Jr. Was assassinated at the Manila airport while leaving his plane. Public outcry over the killing ultimately led to the collapse of the government of Ferdinand Marcos and the inauguration of Corazon Aquino, widow of the. Oh, that's interesting. Widow of the slain man. So his wife became president
That's interesting.
after he was killed.
Like what's the word? Aristocracy.
Aristocracy.
Aristocracy. Yeah.
August 22nd, 1986. Deadly fumes from a volcanic eruption under Lake Neos in Cameroon killed more than 1,500 people. I've never heard of that before, but that's pretty crazy.
That sucks.
It's probably like, I would imagine, like sulfur related kind of.
I would hope not, because that would be a terrible death.
Well, there's all kinds of nasty things in volcanoes.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, in general, but yeah.
I'm going to skip that one. That's really long. Okay, August 23rd, 1927, Italian immigrants Nicola Sacco and Bartholomew Vanzetti were electrocuted inside a prison at Charlestown, Massachusetts. The days and weeks leading up to their execution aroused worldwide protests and accusations of unfair treatment because they had radical political views and were Italian. So it was kind of a
that sounds like an
almost like race or immigrant,
yeah,
like
immigrant.
anti-Italian, like, or like anti-immigrant, kind of like people felt that was what was.
What
But
year
these
was that
guys, this was 1927.
Okay.
So they had been convicted of a shoe factory robbery, during which the paymaster and a guard had been killed. But there was apparently a lot of like huge lack of evidence. And then it says, and later an admission by a known criminal that he had participated in the robbery with an organized criminal gang. And so basically it sounds like these guys might have been wrongfully accused and then
that happened
executed.
A lot, unfortunately, back in the day.
Yes, it did.
There was like no dude. Like, have you ever watched any of the Gangs of New York?
I have watched Gangs of New York.
Or the scene where they had the hanging, where those they hang like 3 guys,
Yeah.
and like the mayor was like, he was having the conversation with Daniel Day-Lewis's character. He's like, how do we resolve this situation? And then the mayor's like, yeah, just find like 3 random guys and just hang them, and then accuse them for this, and then that should it should get the city all cheery, or the
Right,
area.
yeah.
And like they just got 3 random guys, and then they paid them off basically like, hey, we're gonna give your family this. And then like I remember the conversation when Daniel Day-Lewis is like, good job, Joe, take one for the team. Basically, it's like, yeah. And then he's like, he asked like to buy his little like necklace thing, and he's like, I'll give you $1 for that. He's like, $2. He's like, all right. Like it was like weird, and then they hung him. It was like, what the hell? Like that was like, it's bizarre how stuff like that happened.
Yeah. August 24th, going way back here. August 24th, 79. Just the year 79.
1979?
Nope. 79 AD.
Oh, 79. Oh my god.
Vesuvius, an active volcano in southern Italy, erupted, destroying the cities of Pompeii, something, and Herculaneum. I'm gonna skip that second city. I apologize to that second city in Italy that was destroyed by Vesuvius, but I'm not gonna try to pronounce that name.
Also, a movie was based off of this. Interesting enough, what
Yes.
I've noticed, there's been 2 volcanic things that have happened this week, right?
I don't know. I had not read this until you handed it to me.
No, didn't you say something else with that dealt with?
Yeah. The Cameroonian volcano. Where
yeah, so it's 2, and then next week there's another one. We'll get it to next week, but that's interesting. Like within these 2 weeks, there's 3 different volcanic eruptions that have happened on Earth. Dun dun dun. Conspiracies. No? Okay. Fine. Whatever.
I mean, there's volcanic eruptions every day.
I know that, but I'm just saying like 3 specific big ones that are recorded in history. It's kind of interesting.
Okay, fair enough.
Just don't be what I'm saying is don't be by a volcano within this week and next week. on vacation.
Okay. August 24th, 1572. Thousands of Protestant Huguenots were massacred in Paris and throughout France by Catholics in what became known as the Saint Bartholomew's Day Massacre, 1572. August 24th, apparently, and 25th, 1814, during the War of 1812, Washington, D.C. was invaded by British forces that burned down the Capitol, the White House, and most other public buildings, along with a number of private homes. The burning was in retaliation for the earlier American burning of York in Toronto. So, an eye for an eye for that one, I guess.
Get messed up, dog.
But I would say that York is not nearly as big a city as Washington, D.C. Although Washington, D.C. at that time really wasn't even that big of a city. But it was like the seat of power in the United States, obviously, and still is. August 25th, 1985, Samantha Smith died in an airplane crash in Maine. In 1982, the 11-year-old American schoolgirl had written a letter to Soviet Russia's leader Yuri Andropov, asking, "Why do you want to conquer the whole world, or at least our country?" To her surprise, Andropov replied personally to her and offered her an all-expense-paid trip to the USSR. And she toured Russia for 2 weeks amid world publicity and became to symbolize American and Russian hopes for peaceful coexistence.
What year was it?
1985. Well, she died in
Okay.
1985.
She died in 1985?
In 1982, she was at the president or the premier or whatever of Russia, like invited her to Russia. And
Okay. What else? No, because like Stalin took like a famous picture with a little girl like on a balcony. I was like, wait, was that her? No, but never mind.
Stalin was long dead.
Yeah, but he was dead. But I'm just saying, like, it would be interesting to see if like the photographs. But I think I saw that story in like the news, like a history thing where like they talk like weird stories about kids going in weird places.
Yeah. And that is going to be the end of that takes us to the 26th, which is today. So we'll cover that in the next
Okay, cool.
go around.
That was history for the week. Let us know if we missed anything. Last week we did miss Elvis dying because that was on, what was it, the Thursday? The 16th? Remember?
I would put $100 down that we didn't miss that, but okay.
We did miss it.
Sure.
Because you were like, what days nothing happened this day. You did the history last week.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, nothing apparently happened this today. And then I looked it up. And like that was when
Oh, well,
Elvis
the where I got all that from, they didn't have Elvis in there. I'm kind of surprised.
But yeah, I don't know. But
Okay.
yeah. Awesome. Sauce.
So that takes us to our final topic of the show.
Dun 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 dun. I've been like proud of myself on being able to keep conversations and just like picking real quick. But
you should get an extra gold star if you make the playoffs after having a draft under such difficult conditions.
I know. Give me a sec. I gotta fix something on my phone skis. Go ahead and
So
get
our,
it.
Yeah, so our final topic for our Pennsylvania Avenue segment of this podcast is going to be about Donald Trump. Been in the news a lot more, even more than normal recently, because of the recent plea deals and convictions of both Paul Manafort and Donald Trump's former lawyer, and I totally forgot to bring up like what the charges were.
Yeah,
in
you
fact,
had-
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna be unable to find it.
There was a conversation, one of the chat things that we're in, and there was a poll saying after all of these charges and decisions that were made, are you still going to be a Trump? Are you still going to be able to support Trump? There's another one to say, are you still going to vote for Trump? And we're just basically going to go through real quick, give you some context of what happened and what the actual charges were and how they relate real quick. And then we're going to just talk about how we feel about it.
Well, I know off the top of my head that all the Paul Manafort charges have nothing to do with, like, they're all from much earlier than his involvement with Donald Trump or the Trump campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have a hard time there's like so many things that get posted in that group all the time that's like way at the bottom. Like I'm not certain I'm gonna be able to find it. Hopefully posted a comment. Oh, this could be it right here. Okay. I found it. All right. So, and then Michael Cohen, who is the, if I can get out of this, was the personal lawyer for Donald Trump, was convicted on 8 different criminal counts, federally criminal counts. 5 of them, 5 counts of tax evasion, which is unrelated to Trump. They were like personal things from a little bit before that time. I believe starting in 2011, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, some of that stuff was like basically way before the election happened.
Right. 1 count of falsifying submissions, and that goes along with the tax evasion. So like he was falsifying his income for like one of those years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that falsifying submissions comes from. And then the last 2 are where it gets a little bit interesting. So the last 2 counts, I wasn't able to find what the actual charge was called anywhere. What it said in the press release was that it was 2 counts of, quote, involving unlawful campaign contributions. So there wasn't actually like any sort of formal title for that. So it's possible that this could be related to President Trump. Michael Cohen alleges that he was reimbursed for paying off 2 women, one of whom was Stormy Daniels. I don't remember the other girl's name.
The other one was another model, maybe I believe Playboy model, but she didn't go to the media, or she didn't go to the lengths of what Stormy Daniels had done.
Yeah.
Basically.
So Cohen alleges that like he paid these people off, and then he was reimbursed for those payoffs knowingly by Donald Trump and the Donald Trump campaign. So I guess where it comes down to is that I know that Donald Trump had an interview on Fox News earlier in the week, and he said that the money did not come from the campaign funds. Obviously, Donald Trump is in a lot of hot water because he's on record as saying that like he had no knowledge of the Stormy Daniels like
said,
thing.
Like he didn't know at the time, but then he knew. Like recently in one of his interviews that he had, like this past week or something.
Yeah,
like
he
that.
said that he didn't know at the time, but he's like knew since then.
Yeah.
That was the interview on Fox News, the same interview. And he also, I feel like both Donald Trump and more frequently anyway, Rudy Giuliani, who's like now taken up the helm as like Trump's lawyer, that they can't seem to get out of their own way sometimes. They just like Trump brings like unnecessary attention onto the situation because he said in that same Fox interview that he was basically like praising Paul Manafort for not like turning on him, and like that like it should be illegal for prosecutors to flip. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It should be illegal for prosecutors to like flip people to like get the next person up. And it's like, why would you even ever say anything like that?
Yeah, that
like,
was.
It just makes him seem guilty.
Well, makes him seem guilty, but it kind of makes him like it's kind of not ironic, or is it the word? Because he's talked about saying like you shouldn't flip, but then like he's kind of flipped on stuff too.
Well, I mean, what he means specifically though is like them getting a plea bargain, like they're gonna plead guilty, and then they're also gonna give incriminating evidence on Donald Trump.
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is like, there's an example that I listened to, and I was like, oh, that makes like he's kind of an idiot for saying that because he does that himself, or he was already supporting that in the sense. But yeah, okay, whatever. But regardless, what was interesting my point is gone. It's like literally just like, no, my thing was I was gonna say, out of this with Manafort was, Jesus Christ, why am I not thinking right now? Oh,
my criticism with like
no,
Manafort.
okay, no, it was.
You got it.
It was the dealing with the campaign, because if he's able to show in the past that he's been paying girls off before, that this won't be a charge, or they can say like, well, we've been doing this
campaign.
Yeah, it can't really be a campaign expenditure if he's been doing this, and shows it like before campaign stuff, like, hey, I've had this issue with women in the past. This is what I do. Like being more straight up forward about it would probably be
Yeah.
better.
His other defense would be that
that That was my thought. Sorry.
What Michael Cohen did was like that. His other defense should be anyway that he didn't know. He just told Michael Cohen to handle the situation and basically claim ignorance and say that like he didn't know what the campaign finance laws.
Word.
He didn't know, and like Michael Cohen like went out and broke the campaign finance laws and did so without Donald Trump's knowledge. That would be another probably pretty easy defense.
Yeah.
I really don't think that this is going to be anything that leads to, unless there's more evidence on the evidence that we have now. I don't think at all this is going to like lead to an impeachment or anything like that.
Yeah, some of this doesn't seem like it's on paper from what I've been hearing. It doesn't seem that it would be unless they find something more like incriminating that's just like deeper.
And like I've always said, especially like with this now and with all the Russia collusion stuff that's been going on for 2 years now almost. Like if there was any shred of evidence that like truly got him, like caught Trump doing something, they're 100% like CNN, NBC, CBS, the New York Times, like all these people would have already had it leaked to them.
Yeah.
And it would be all over the media.
Especially like the
like if there was evidence that Trump knew that they were going to commit campaign finance law and paid off Stormy Daniels and the other girl anyway, like 100% that transmission or email or phone call would like 100% already be leaked to the media. So
I agree with that.
So
I don't know. It's a weird situation because like it's a lot, not a he should, she should, or he said, she said. It's more, okay, we see what's in front of us, but can any of the actions that the people on the left want, can that, like impeachment, can this actually happen through these, what's happened with all these charges and accusations? Like can any of this hold up to impeachment? And right now, if you're looking at it, a lot of people on the left are like, no, he should be in, like, you know, they're going to go straight to the point or straight to the emotional reaction. I'm not looking at it on like a legal standpoint, and a lot of it right now isn't, which I don't know how, like, I mean, when you look at like Clinton and how he got impeached, it just like, but he was like under oath and whatnot.
Yeah, but Clinton was like proved to have committed a federal crime. Like he committed perjury.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like it's interesting how like this is gonna work. It's weird because when you hear just people just going off just emotional reactions, but they have some stuff to say behind it a little bit, but then like they don't really have much to say after that.
Yeah.
Like once they get past the first sentence, then like they don't really have anything to say.
So let's circle back to what this was originally going to be.
Okay.
Like with all the things that have come out over the last week regarding like Trump and people that he associated himself with. Like this, and then the whole thing with like John Brennan and Omarosa.
Yeah.
Take like the last 2 weeks. Like, does this change whether or not you support Donald Trump?
Well, I'm not technically a Donald Trump supporter, but I will, like I said, I will defend him in situations where there's no reason to like make it bigger than what it is, or to, you know, like say things that we already know and try to like circle around back to it on accusations or something like that. Just like, okay, dude, we already knew this. Or good policy, like I'm going to defend his good policies. Like I said, I think Ben Shapiro had a good point on like grading what he's done. Everything has been like a decent grade. There's one, I think, I forgot which one it was. That was a bad one.
It was like basically like media relations and like rhetoric.
Yeah, that was an F or D. That's like same thing, same boat for me. Like I said, I mean, I didn't vote for him, but I'm still going to support him because he's president and I want him to do well. But as of right now, it depends. Like I said, for me, it depends on who he's running against 2020 or if he's running it at all. But like I said, that would be then. But right now, I'm supportive in his policies and how good he's doing. I'm hoping the economy stays up. I've heard a lot of stuff about the economy going into a recession either by as soon as the end of the year. But that's like all speculation. but I hope that wouldn't impact him into 2020, unfortunately. But as the moment right now,
presidents always get both too much credit and too much blame normally for the behavior of the economy anyway.
yeah,
As far as I voted for Donald Trump in the 2016 election. I still believe and I voted knowing that it was gonna be the circus. I don't even think that I thought it was gonna be as big a circus.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be either. I didn't think
as it's turned out to be.
It's not that I didn't think he was gonna win. It's just everyone in the media at the time that I followed are like, yeah, all the polls are saying that Hillary just had this big lead. I'm like, historically, someone that has that kind of big lead in the polls at that time should win, and that's what it was gonna look like. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for Gary Johnson. So I mean, that was me. But now what it looks like obviously we see it now, it's differently.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to support him in his policies that he's doing well in. I'm going to support him for defending people in the middle of the country. I'm not going to support him for, I don't think he really defended the KKK and white supremacists really, in my eyes. I don't really want to explain it because it's hard for me to explain it because it's stupid. But I'm gonna defend him on stuff that he does good, but I'm also gonna ridicule him or kind of criticize him on stuff that dude, just shut up.
Yeah,
shut up.
So
stop tweeting.
I wish that Donald Trump should pass a federal law that Donald Trump is not allowed to speak. He almost needs an interpreter, just for regular commenting on anything. I understand that he wanted his Twitter, reasoning for wanting to have an active Twitter account as president was that he didn't trust the media to get his message out there the way that he wants. But, he can't get his message out there the way that he wants.
Yeah.
He falls over himself by, saying stupid things that don't make sense. And, he could explain things so much better. He could pick and choose his battles so much better to
and then he doesn't need to circle around to stuff that he was doing in the campaign as well.
Yeah, kind of that too. At times he seems really petty. Obviously everyone knew this going into the campaign that he has the biggest ego around. He is very I guess impulsive might be the right word.
He pulls the trigger a lot on just stuff that I don't think he thinks about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the perception of him and his administration would be so much better if he just stopped talking.
Yeah, I think this also affect. I mean, when I talked to my mom, she voted for him as well, but I think she comes at it from my kind of way of looking at it too, because she's definitely talked to. We have a lot of family in the middle of the country, and a lot of the rhetoric that was talked about the people in the middle of the country and just kind of not being important and kind of no one really cares about them, that kind of got to her. That kind of was one of the things. She didn't really like Hillary a lot. There's obviously there's that speculation of how Donald Trump spun it to make Hillary look like obviously the crooked Hillary. So with that said, it's you're kind of changing perception and changing minds, but it's also so a lot of it has a lot of backing and a lot of ground to it as well.
Yeah, I don't really think that the whole crooked Hillary thing is what swung the election. I truly believe that.
Well, no, I'm saying part of it. I think it was a bunch of factors, but I think that I'm saying for a person like my mom,
no, I understand.
That's still in the boat. Is as one.
Yeah, it was still definitely. I think the Democrats underestimated how. The word that you used was forgotten, and no one cares. I think the Democrats underestimated the number of people that were out there that felt like that, but I also believe that had the Democrats ran literally anyone else as their nominee, Bernie Sanders would be president right now.
I don't know about that
because I don't think that I think had Bernie Sanders won the primary, Bernie Sanders would be president. But I think Bernie Sanders could have only beaten Donald Trump. If it came down between Bernie Sanders and anyone else that was in the Republican primaries, that Republican would have won. Because that Republican could have destroyed him in a debate. Donald Trump would have just been normal Donald Trump.
I think Donald Trump would have beat. I think the only way the Democrats would have won is if Donald Trump didn't win the the primary for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, so
I
like,
think there was so much blood in the water for. I think Donald Trump would have. I think the way. Sorry, excuse me. That he went into the 2016 election was like in a different view. I think there's too many people behind him in the middle of the country. I think also to add to that point about people, and I think a lot of Democrats didn't even show up to the polls because like they thought like, oh, Hillary's gonna win. What's the point of me?
yeah, that
voting?
might be true.
But
I also feel
I think
well, go ahead. Sorry.
with Bernie, I think he would have had someone that would have broken down all of his social policies or socialist policies, and I think he would have if he does run for 2020, he's going to do the same thing that he would have done to him in 2016, and now he has even more ammo. So for me, like I don't think he would have not came close, but I don't think it would have been this. I think it would have been the same result or similar result. I think it would have been a little bit more of a fight because I think Bernie would have campaigned in those certain areas, but Bernie wouldn't have been the candidate in the first place because of what happened at the DNC. So.
Well, right, I know, but like so the whole like Democrats not turning out because they thought Hillary was going to win. I would 100% believe that many Republicans did not turn out because they thought Hillary was going to win.
Yeah.
But I think that Hillary would have beaten any other Republican, probably, and Bernie Sanders would have beat Donald Trump, but not any other Republican. That's where I'm at.
I don't know.
In any case,
I think
Donald Trump definitely tapped into something.
Yeah, I guess. I think he would have done the same thing with Hillary and would have manipulated like some stupid thing out of that with Bernie Sanders. He would have talked instead of being like crooked, he would have been like can't work Bernie Sanders. He would have probably went to his past about with his like the thing he got kicked out of when he was younger. When he was like in his like 30s or something like that.
Yeah.
He couldn't like he was like so
commune,
lazy
basically.
Yeah, he couldn't like contribute at his commune. Like he could have done stuff like that. There's like so much in that he could have used in his background. That's what he did with the Clintons. He like I think for one of the debates or something like that, he brought like in the first row behind him or in some debate he had all the ladies that had accused Bill Clinton of sexual assault. So I'm like he would have done stuff like that. That would have just been.
But I think Bernie Sanders doesn't have the hate for him that Hillary Clinton does on the right. I don't.
I think Hillary Clinton hates everyone equally, but
no. I'm saying the Hillary Clinton's perception, like the average person in the United States views Hillary Clinton in a much worse light than they do Bernie Sanders, and that's why I think Bernie Sanders would have beat.
I guess.
And he would have gotten even more votes.
He definitely would have got the voters in our age bracket.
That's what I'm saying. So like Bernie beats Trump, Hillary
but like
beats
I said,
any other Republican.
It can't be you can't even think about it because Bernie wouldn't have been presidential candidate anyways.
Yeah.
So
I know it's all hypothetical.
I know.
But yeah, I've personally been mostly, I would say like 90% of the time pleased with the policy decisions.
I think everything but the
choices
tariffs
that have been made.
It's basically
everything but what?
The tariffs.
Oh,
like the biggest thing is.
I've heard. Obviously, the tariffs haven't been really a good thing yet, but I also have heard that China has since come back to the table because like it's hurting us, but it's hurting China more, and China can't outlast us.
Yeah, because what I've seen too is the Q2 results. A lot of people were buying stuff before the tariffs happened, and that's why Q2 was so good, and that's why you're not going to see that in Q3 unless whatever the tariffs is gonna.
You mean on our end or China's end?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Because Peter Schiff was going through how, that Q2 was the best. Like it's been like one of the best years we've ever like best in GDP. Because like Donald Trump was talking about the GDP.
We had
being
for
high.
like the fiscal year 2017. We had a 4% growth, which was like unheard of.
But I'm talking about specifically for Q2. I think just came out maybe. I think and he was talking about that and how everyone was stocking up basically before the tariff, so they wouldn't get hit by the extra costs. So that's why Q2 was so good. So like when you're gonna see the replacements or the loss in the increase from Q2 to Q3. So like stuff like that is gonna be interesting to look at too. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a cluster of weird stuff. But I think The stuff he's gotten us out of has been good. Like I said, the tariffs are the only things that I really have a big gripe with. But yeah, everyone likes the tax cuts. But again, he created more debt with the tax cuts.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. My problem with the tax cuts is like you have to then cut government to make up the financial difference, and that hasn't happened yet.
What he didn't do.
In fact, it's been expanded because there's like now more military spending, since at least the Obama administration, there's more military spending now, like per year.
Yeah, I think it went from 16 to 19%.
Oh, I'm not sure what the numbers are.
Yeah, because I think from what from the updated version, I think it's going to be at 19% of the GDP.
Okay. So anyway, that's our thoughts on all the Donald Trump stuff recently. Let us know in the comments if if your decision has changed or your opinion of Donald Trump has changed at all over the last couple weeks and like the things you've learned, or maybe you've never liked him at all. Let us know why.
Also, go vote. Don't be a little bitch and go vote, dude. Jesus, I'm tired of this like kids our age not voting. It's like, do something, dude. Shut the hell up. Do something. God, it's annoying. I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, that's been the Jacob and Me podcast show. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for the new listeners. Thank you for the old listeners. If you didn't know that we do this show on iTunes, I believe it's on Google Play now and on SoundCloud, so it's available for all three of those services to listen to. But if you want to watch our beautiful faces, we are also available on YouTube. Everything's all College Avenue. Just type it in the search bars, and you'll find us. But there's also links down below, just in case. And that's been it, ladies and gentlemen. I have been the host, Richard Radillo.
I'm Jacob Boyd.
This has been the man with the noggin, Jacob Bullard. Thank you guys. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Share this with all your invisible friends. Thank you. And we'll see you guys next week. Laters.
So long.